So what are we doing here, Joel?
Okay, so what we are doing here, Allie, is we are going to set you up with Bitkey, the coolest, most amazing way to secure your Bitcoin and put your Bitcoin from out there on Coinbase or wherever it is to in here. Technically, it's on the blockchain, but this is the way you unlock it.
Gotcha.
So what I have for you here is a brand new Bitkey device, never before opened, and I'm going to walk you through how to set this up.
Awesome.
Now, I'm going to give you a play-by-play, step-by-step. If you did this by yourself, and I've done this with quite a few people, if you just hand this to somebody, it takes about 6 minutes for them to go from literally nothing. They're like, look, I've got some Bitcoin on Coinbase. I want it to be more secure. I don't know how to do that. You can hand this box to somebody, and in about 6 minutes, they will have Bitcoin transferred from Coinbase to Bitkey.
Gotcha.
With no knowledge, like no experience, no knowledge, no how-to videos, just literally a person off the street can figure it out in about 6 minutes. It's going to take us longer because I'm going to guide you through, for the benefit of everybody, step by step exactly what we're doing.
Perfect.
Okay, so you can put your phone just down anywhere on your here or there. So this is a Bitkey device. So the first thing you're going to do, I'm going to let you do all of it. The first thing you're going to do is open it.
It's like opening a present.
It's like opening a present. It's great. So you open it, and inside is one of these, brand new. There you go. It's a beautiful little thing. Like this is just genius. All right, so the first thing you do is take the plastic off of it.
Okay.
It's in plastic, just to keep it all nice and fingerprint free. So you can take that off. And then the little insert here has a QR code on it. So you're going to pull out the QR code and scan it with your phone.
Okay.
What that's going to do is it's going to bring you to the App Store. And it tells you exactly on the card. It says, basically you open the box and it's like, scan the QR code. Like, that's all you got to do. All of the instructions that tell you what to do and how to do are on that. So you scan it, and that is the Bitkey app. Hit get and download it. All right, so now you are downloading the Bitkey app. The Bitkey app is going to guide you through the entire process of setting up a Bitkey.
Okay.
All right, so here we go. You click open on the app, and it's going to ask you, it's going to say, here's Bitkey. Own your Bitcoin.
Nice.
Yeah, in the palm of your hand. It shows people it shows a guy accidentally leaving his phone in a taxi and getting his Bitcoin right back. It's literally that simple. Like instead of worrying that you're going to lose it somehow. So it says Bitcoin ownership that's easy to use and hard to lose. That's what it is. I love it.
That's what I need.
That's right. We're going to set up a new wallet, and it's going to say wake your Bitkey device. So grab your Bitkey device. We're going to wake it up. And then it says touch your fingerprint reader until you see the white light. If your device doesn't turn on, charge your device and try again. It's already charged, so it comes charged. So, all right, you can put your phone down, or I can hold it if you want, whatever's easier for you. So you put your phone, you light it up, and then it says wake your Bitkey device and hit, I'll hold your phone, and hit continue.
Okay.
Okay, it says pair your Bitkey device. Activate your Bitcoin's NFC reader with the button below and hold your Bitkey to the back of your phone. So hit the pair button.
Okay.
And then it's going to say ready to scan. So the way you want to hold this thing is you want to hold it to the top of your phone where it looks like that, where it's peeking out the top. That little white light is just peeking up because the near field communication reader in a phone, which is what it uses to do contactless payments, or if you hold two iPhones together and it swaps contact info, all of that is right near the top. So you just hold it like this.
Okay.
So when you do that, it works.
Okay.
If you hold it now, it's not a QR code. Sometimes I see people, they're like, I'm like, it literally tells them to touch it to the back of their phone, and they're like, I'm like, no. Like for security, they used NFC, not Bluetooth, not Wi-Fi. They're like, for security, they're like, it's got to touch. It's got to touch because we want to know that nobody's hacking your phone. Here, so there you go, and it's going to say, set up your first fingerprint. It allows you to do up to 3. If you wanted your husband to have his fingerprint on there, so if something happens to you, you're not the only person that can unlock it. So it says, place your finger on the sensor until you see a blue light. Lift your finger and repeat 15 to 20 times, adjusting your finger position slightly each time until the light turns green. Then save your fingerprint. So just do that on the button with whichever fingerprint you want to use. And you just keep doing it, and it keeps turning blue until it turns green. When it's green,
that means it's got your whole fingerprint.
Yeah.
Assuming.
And exactly. It wants to make sure that it's not going to accidentally, not have just the right piece of your finger that it's saving for you.
Well, I'm loving the fact that you can do multiple fingerprints.
Okay, green. So then we're going to hit Save Fingerprint and hold it up to that device right near at the top. And it's going to scan it and say success. And now your fingerprint is synchronized and it is creating an account for you.
Okay.
Okay, now what it's going to do is it's going to back up a key, an encrypted key, to iCloud.
Okay.
It does this in case somehow you lose your Bitkey device and you lose your phone at the same time.
Oh gosh.
So in order for this to secure your Bitcoin, it needs one of these two things to move your Bitcoin. That way it knows it's not a hacker, because a hacker is not physically holding your phone and a hacker is not physically holding that. And you're going to have to do one or the other. And in fact, to move large amounts of Bitcoin, you're going to have to touch the two together.
Okay.
But in order to create a backup, in case you somehow, you live in California, the wildfires got your phone, the wildfires got your Bitkey, like all that's left is your iCloud account.
Okay.
Then they have an encrypted copy to make sure that you don't lose access.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's going to back those up. And so we're going to click the button to back those up. It says saving backup. And then it's going to want an email address and push notifications. I always recommend, here I'll do push first. I always recommend, we're going to hit allow. I always recommend the notifications are turned on. That way, if anything's happening with your Bitkey, you get alerts about it. It's not like a hacker or a scammer can do anything with your Bitkey because they need to physically touch that. But you just want to know if something's happening, or if somebody sends you some Bitcoin, you want to get a push notification.
Okay.
I'll let you do this. Enter your email address, and then it will ask you to open your email app to verify your email address. It can be just whatever email address you want to get alerts at. The reason it does this, I'll explain. You don't have to listen, but I'll explain. The reason it does this is Bitkey wants to know that they have a good email address for you in case you want to go through the recovery process. So if you lose your Bitkey device, if you lose your phone, you've lost it all, they need some way of validating that you are you. And it's not your iCloud account that got hacked somehow or something. So they need a good email address. So if you go to your email app, it should send you a code.
Yeah.
You can copy and paste that code over.
Yep.
And then you are verified. I will swap with you.
Okay.
There is your Bitkey. Here's your phone. Okay, so now they can send you an email or get push notifications, and they tell you if you want to learn more about their security, which is really incredible how they architected that. It'll do that right there. We're going to click continue. Notifications about updates. You do want to notify if somebody sends you Bitcoin. You don't need push notifications about updates, although I'll turn it off. You can turn it on later. And then I think it's going to make you agree to their terms of use. It is, which basically says you're agreeing that you're using this stuff. But I'm not hitting the button right. Oh, sorry. It was hidden behind the button.
Oh.
All right, so you agree to the terms of use. You don't want email updates, so I'm gonna turn that off. But at least you'll know if somebody sends you Bitcoin, you'll get a push notification on your phone.
Okay.
We're gonna hit continue. All right, it says welcome to Bitkey. All right, that is literally how easy it is to set up. Now, if you were doing that yourself with no guidance and literally you're like, what is this? I'm opening a box. What is this thing? It looks like a fingerprint reader. Oh, there's a QR code. Like, if you're figuring it all out yourself, it still takes less than 6 minutes, end to end. But if you're actually reading everything it says on the screen, it's more, or it takes us more because we're explaining it.
Yeah.
All right, it says you can tap to hide the balance. So you can actually tap this if you want it to show just stars. If you're opening the app, you don't want people to see your balance. We're going to leave it stars. Why not? And then it says there's a device update. We can update it later. You just hold the device to the back of your phone. It goes zoop, and then it sends it the very latest update. But the thing we want to do here is the first two things is to add Bitcoin and then invite a trusted contact. I'll explain those, but I'll give you the phone, and I will hold this for you. So go ahead. We're going to move, if it's okay with you. You can move a tiny amount, a big amount. It's up to you. Click Add Bitcoin.
Okay.
And it's going to ask you if you want to buy new Bitcoin or transfer. In your case, you already want to transfer. So they integrate with Cash App, Coinbase, Robinhood, or you can get a QR code or a Bitcoin address that you can use with anything, anywhere in the world. So we're going to pick Coinbase because that's easy, and it integrates, and so it'll take you right over to Coinbase. It says, let's hit buy or transfer, and then it should authenticate automatically. It will ask you how much you want to transfer.
Oh, there we go.
You select Bitcoin. It's the only asset you should have on Coinbase is Bitcoin. And then it'll ask you how much. And you can swap between US dollars. So if you want to swap to US dollars, you push the little button and swap to US dollars.
Okay.
And then you can just enter an amount. And it will ask, I think down here it asks, there you go. So we can pick the default amount, or you can transfer more. Feel free to do like $5 or $10 if you want to, just for a sample.
Yeah.
Okay. So preview the send, and it's going to say, do you want to send $50 of Bitcoin? The network fee, which is the Bitcoin fee to process it on the official Bitcoin network, is 45 cents.
Okay.
So that'll cost you $50.45. Go ahead and hit confirm, and click verify because Coinbase they're going to want to scan your face with passkey.
Okay.
Normally, if your passkey is attached to Face ID, it's instant, and you don't have to do a password. It's just like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Did it do that, or okay?
Yeah.
It says you sent it, and if you want, we can look at the details.
Okay.
Coinbase batches their transactions, so they wait for a bunch of people to send Bitcoin, and then every so often they push it out. So they say it takes up to 30 minutes. Usually it's like 2.
Okay.
But
Gotcha.
anyway, we'll show details, and it gives you the details of exactly what you did. All right, so we're going to hit done here to go back to Bitkey. Bitkey's going to re-authenticate. It says your Bitcoin transfer is on its way to Bitkey, your Coinbase. Sorry.
Yeah.
The status will update to process when their transaction is detected in the mempool. All right, so you have now transferred $50 over from Coinbase to Bitkey, and it took about 1 or 2 minutes, even though it said it could take as long as 30. So you have now added it. You've done the very first thing it tells you to do on here, and it tells you can do a couple more things. The next we're going to do is invite a trusted contact. So we're going to click on that. So it tells you trusted contacts can help you recover your wallet if you lose access. Instead of relying on a company, you depend on the people you know and trust. Trusted contacts won't have access to your wallet or funds. They will only be able to help you recover your wallet. So the reason it's important to have a trusted contact is if you lose your phone and your Bitkey device at the same time, then a trusted contact can help you unlock the encrypted copy of what's on your phone from your iCloud account. Now you may wonder, why does it have to be encrypted on my iCloud account? Well, because if someone were to hack your iCloud account, you don't want them to be able to have access to Bitkey. So it has to be encrypted on there. The question is, well, then how do you get a hold of it? You can unencrypt it with this, but you lost this. You can unencrypt it with your phone, but you lost that.
Right.
So something's got to help you unencrypt it. So a trusted contact is the brilliant way they came up with for inviting people to help you unlock it. And when you are going through the trusted contact process, if you need help unlocking it, you download the Bitkey app and it says, hey, I detect you have an encrypted copy on iCloud on this brand new phone because you lost your old one. You need a trusted contact to help you unencrypt this. So when one of your trusted contacts goes through, it will say, how are you communicating with Allie? And if they click phone, it'll say, this is not secure. I will not give you the code. You need to be live on video or FaceTime or Zoom, or you need to be in person. So if you pick anything other than in person or live video, they will say, this is not secure. We're not going to give you the code. You need to eyeball this person.
Right.
You need to make sure that it is Allie that is asking you for this code, because this code is going to help unlock an encrypted copy of this in her iCloud account. And we got to know that she's the one that's asking for that, not that someone hacked her account. Now you may be thinking, but what if somebody jumped through all the hoops and they trick somebody and they hack my iCloud? All you can do if somebody does that is they could start a 7-day recovery. A 7-day recovery is going to be sending you emails saying, hey, Allie, was it really you? Someone's recovering your account. Did you really lose your phone? Did you really lose your Bitkey?
Yeah.
It's going to be sending you push notifications to your new phone. And it's going to give you 7 days of constant emails, constant push notifications saying, your account's being recovered. A trusted contact is helping you unlock the encrypted copy of your Bitkey in your iCloud account or in your Google Cloud account if that's what you're using. So they've set it all up where it's basically almost nothing's hacker-proof completely. I mean, hackers get into government CIA systems sometimes.
Yeah.
But they've set it up where it's basically impossible for a hacker or a scammer to get access to it, but it's also impossible for you to lose it, which is really hard to do. It's really hard to make something ultra secure that you can't somehow mess up and lose, right? Because it's really easy to make something secure, but it's the more secure it is and the harder for you to get to it, the easier it is for you to lose it. So Bitkey is brilliant because they made it basically hacker and scammer proof, but also basically impossible for you to lose, which is brilliant. And they do that through the concept of trusted contact. So we won't do this right now, but if you do a trusted contact, we're going to just do test. That you would just type the name of the person because they don't know who the people are.
Yeah.
You're the one connecting names and connections. And then you're going to say test, and then you're going to save it. You're going to have to save it here, and then it's going to give you a link to send to somebody.
Gotcha.
You can send it by usually text message. You text it to your trusted contact. They're going to get a text and says, hey, Allie is asking you to be a trusted contact. Who is sending this to you? They don't know. Again, nobody knows who these people are because for your anonymity, they don't know. And so the person who receives it's going to say, Allie. This is Allie. So that it knows. It's going to say, okay, and then it's going to send you a code back and forth, and then they're going to be a trusted contact.
Okay.
At any time, you can revoke their status as a trusted contact.
Okay.
You can decide that someone you used to trust, you don't trust anymore.
Yes.
And if you revoke it, then they can't help unlock that key for your Bitcoin.
Gotcha.
So for most people, one trusted contact's enough. Because again, normally it's your spouse or it's one of your trusted children or it's a trusted friend or whatever it is. If you have a lot of Bitcoin, I recommend 2 or more.
Trusted contacts.
Yeah. Now, I mean, the probability is like, again, they would have to go down in a plane, you would have to go down in a plane, you'd have to lose this, you'd have to lose your, and all of that would have to result in both of your iCloud accounts getting deleted.
Yeah.
Well, Apple doesn't just like delete iCloud accounts. So basically, it's impossible. So with 2 or more, you're good. But with 1 or more, you just don't want to run into a situation where like something goes wrong. Who knows? So if you have a lot of Bitcoin, I would say it'll let you set up to 3 trusted contacts. But you need to have at least 1 for any amount of Bitcoin. Because you might lose your phone and you might lose your Bitkey somehow. That does happen. But if you have 1, but if you have a lot of Bitcoin, I would say do 2. Do 2, and then you could have up to 3.
Yeah.
All right, and then the last thing you can do here is you can add additional fingerprints if you want for just your spouse or whatever. You can also transfer you can set a limit that allows you to transfer some Bitcoin without requiring this device. So it only requires 1 key, which is the key on your phone, instead of the 2 to be touched together.
Oh, gotcha.
So we don't have to do this now, but we're going to do it. And you can come in here and you can say, let's say $50. You can say, I want to be able to move $50 without having to go to the bank and getting this from my safe deposit box. I don't want to know where you're going to keep this for your privacy, but most people keep it wherever they keep their valuables, wherever they keep family heirloom jewelry, or if they have a safe deposit box, you can keep it in the safe deposit box. You only need this to move Bitcoin, not to receive it. You can send stuff to Bitkey all day long, but if you want to move it from here to somewhere else, you got to touch this up to the back of your phone. Unless you want to set a limit of like, I want to be able to move $50 a day without having to go track this down. Then you can set that up. Any changes or settings you make will require you to hold this to the back of your phone to make sure it's really you that's making the setting. So it's a setting. We don't have to set that up right now. So that's what happens when you set up a new Bitkey device. You go in here, and I'll walk you through just the user interface. You add Bitcoin to the device, which you have done. You can add more. You invite a trusted contact. If you want to move Bitcoin without having to touch this to your phone, you can set a limit to how much you can do with that. You can add additional fingerprints, and there's the recent activity of the $50 that got moved. I'll walk you through the other updates. If you want to update the device, we'll do that real quick because it's so easy. You push that. It will tell you it's going to update the device, but you got to hold it to the back of your phone. See how it's showing it going to the top? So you have to unlock this. I can't. I'll show you here. If I try to unlock this, it's not going to, it's a red. No other fingerprint in the world can unlock this except yours. So you have to unlock it, hold it to the back of your phone, right up there at the top, touching, and then hit the button, and it says ready to scan, and that is the update. So it is sending the update from the Bitkey app to the Bitkey device so that you have the very latest software, and that's how easy it is.
Wow.
And now your Bitkey device is updated.
Nice.
So I will walk you through the rest of these settings here. You can buy Bitcoin with Bitkey. You pick an amount, it's defaulting to $100, and it will let you, even if you didn't already have one of these accounts, it'll let you buy it on Coinbase, Cash App, Robinhood, MoonPay, Blockchain.com, any of these, and it tells you, hey, there's their fees, right? So, $100 is going to get you $97 of Bitcoin on Cash App, but it only gets you $94 based on the fees.
Gotcha.
Normally, it's better to buy Bitcoin on the actual platforms. The fees are a lot higher if you do it this way because it's integrating and it's just it's not designed for sort of large purchases.
So buy it on Coinbase and then transfer it,
yes.
instead of buying it on Bitkey. Yeah, gotcha.
This is they make it easy this way, but in an effort to make it this easy, they have to put in higher fees because fraud protection and I don't know what. But anyway, so it's almost always better to just buy it on the platform because you're going to get the best you're going to get the best conversion rates and then transfer it over.
Gotcha. If
you wanted to sell Bitcoin, you can sell. Let's see, it'll let you do $1. $50 available. I'm not sure what the minimum is. Anyway, you can. Let's see what it'll let you do if you had 50. it does the same thing. It says, do you want to sell it through Coinbase, through Cash App, and whatever you already have. If you wanted to send Bitcoin, you can send it to any Bitcoin address. You just paste it. Now, if you're sending it to Coinbase, you don't have to do that because it's just integrated. You can move it back and forth. Also, we're going to hit allow to have the camera. You can scan a QR code, and it will. You can send it to anywhere you want. So you can buy more, you can sell it, you can send it, or you can receive it from Cash App, Coinbase, Robinhood, or it'll give you a QR code and you can get it from an exchange in Asia. So the QR code lets anybody transact Bitcoin anywhere in the world. But again, they're just saying, with receive, they're like, hey, if you don't even want to mess with the barcode, Cash App, Coinbase, Robinhood, all of these will just do it easily for you without even that. So I'll walk you through a few of the other settings if that's okay. Can I give you the rundown?
Yeah.
Okay, so in the settings menu, that's where you transfer if you want to transfer without the hardware. You set a limit of $50 a day or whatever. The Bitkey device, it gives you information about it, including your battery levels at 76. The beauty of it is it doesn't matter if the battery goes to zero. But it's a solid state device, which means the battery can run to zero. It can sit on a shelf for 20 years, and you can plug it back in, charge it back up, and it will work.
So keep the plug-in with the Bitkey.
So it doesn't. There's no reason you have to charge it, although you can. If you want to reset it to factory defaults, you can. It requires your authentication to do it. You can add up to three fingerprints. If you do that, again, anything you change that affects the security whatsoever requires you to touch the device to it. It won't let you change any settings without knowing that it's you.
Okay.
The appearance, you can set it up as US dollars, whether you want it to show you Bitcoin or Satoshis, the tiniest version. You can show the Bitcoin performance. You can hide your home balances, so when you open it up, it doesn't show you the amounts. That's in the appearance. Notifications, again, I always recommend people have push notifications on. It doesn't matter for the Bitkey updates, but you do want to know if you got Bitcoin. And then for the app security, you can turn on Face ID. I'll let you decide if you want to do that later, but that way when you open the Bitkey app, you have to authenticate. And it's not like somebody, if you just leave your phone unlocked, somebody can just open it up. They wouldn't be able to do anything. They can't move any Bitcoin without that or without authenticating anyway. But if you want to secure the app where it requires Face ID, you can do that. You don't need to do this, but if this device was paired with another phone, you can remove it from that other phone with that mobile device setting. The cloud backup shows you that your mobile key is backed up to iCloud in case you lose this and this at the same time. And then, or you're on your way home today, somehow you're in a car wreck, something bad happens to your thumb, even there, again, there's an encrypted copy in iCloud, there's still a recovery path. And this emergency access kit, I know this is getting technical, the average person doesn't need to know this, but I figure if we're going through the settings, we might as well go through all the settings. The emergency access kit shows you how to get access to your Bitcoin if the company behind this, which is Block/Square. Block is the company that makes the Square payment terminals. They also make Cash App, which is one of the most popular consumer financial apps. They have a step-by-step guide of what happens if they disappear from the planet. They're not there anymore. What happens if their app disappears from the App Store? You get a new phone and you're like, the Bitkey app is gone. What do I do? They're like, here's how you put the Bitkey app on your phone, even if it's not on the App Store, even if it's not on So they anticipated that at some point they may disappear from the planet, and you do not need them to move your Bitcoin. Everything you could possibly want to know, you can do without Block/Square, Cash App. The company can disappear from the planet, and all of this keeps working, which is really pretty cool.
And it keeps working even if I get a new phone.
Yeah, so if you...
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Yes.
Let me walk you through what happens in different scenarios.
Okay.
If you lose your phone, destroy your phone, or get a new phone, you touch this device to the new phone, it immediately uses the Bitkey to unlock your iCloud key and puts it on your new phone.
Okay, so
which requires your
this
password.
would put it on the new
Yes.
phone.
So if you get a new phone, this will put it on the new phone, which again means a hacker can't get a new phone and say, I'm Allie. It's like, it's going to say, touch the unlocked Bitkey device with Allie's fingerprint to the back of this new phone. Hackers and scammers don't have your unlocked fingerprint and that Bitkey device. So if you get a new phone or you lose your old phone or you destroy your old phone, that will put it on your new phone.
Okay.
If you lose this phone will go through the process to put this on a new Bitkey device.
Okay.
There's just a 7-day waiting period.
Gotcha.
Which goes back to what happens if you lose this and this at the same time, because they can't put each other back on each other if you lose them both. That's when you need one of your trusted contacts to help you unlock the encrypted copy of this that's in your iCloud account. And so that's why you need trusted contacts. Yes.
One note real quick, because I know some of this may seem like a lot. It really is an easy setup from what you're showing me. But I think one thing that's helpful for people to understand is you're basically being the self-custodian of your money. And so the reason there are so many precautionary security things like that going on is because you're kind of being your own bank almost.
You are being your own bank.
Yeah.
So with this device, you are your own bank.
Yeah.
So the power, again, these settings may sound complicated, but there's only like 2 of them that you literally just need to transfer the Bitcoin and set up a trusted contact. Like that's it. All of these other settings are all on by default and the way they need to be. I'm just walking through it because I'm for the sake of completeness. But yes, so the responsibility, some people may say, oh, but it's just easier to leave it on Coinbase. I love Coinbase, to be clear. Coinbase is an amazing company. I'm a huge fan of Brian Armstrong, the founder, CEO, and chairman. Huge fan of Coinbase, great company. But if it's on Coinbase, they control whether you can send your Bitcoin or not. So they just do. I mean, they're holding your keys for you. And it's like a valet. It's like, well, the car's still yours, but you can't drive it if they got the key, right? I mean, they control your car until they give you the key back as part of the valet process. So Coinbase is fantastic, but they are your bank, and you're trusting them to be your bank, and you're trusting that when you want to send Bitcoin, their systems are going to be working. So the beauty of Bitkey is you are your own bank. When you transfer Bitcoin with Bitkey, there is literally nobody in the entire world that can stop you. Nobody. Like, that's incredible power that the Bitcoin's yours. It's backed up in so many places in your iCloud account, on the Bitkey device, on your phone, you know, with a decryption key held by one of your trusted contacts that can only be used by you, not them. Like, it's a beautiful system, but it's the responsibility of you are your own bank. That is your Bitcoin. Nobody can take it from you. Nobody can freeze your account. Nobody can, I mean, like, you can't end up on a no-fly zone. You know, like it's like an airport, right? You're on a no-fly list. You're like, but my name's generic, right? It was someone else. None of that can happen to you because the power of Bitcoin is you. Like, nobody can keep you from transacting. But with that power comes the responsibility of like, hey, there's a few settings to make sure this doesn't get messed up. You know, and so yes, so you are your own bank. It is the most powerful way to hold and own Bitcoin and to be a self-custodian. It's called self-custody. You are in custody of your own Bitcoin. It is the most powerful way to hold Bitcoin. But yeah, it's a few extra settings. And the reward for that is you are your own bank. It is your own Bitcoin. Nobody can stop you, and it's yours. And that's a really cool thing.
Don't have bank hours.
Yeah, there are no bank hours with Bitkey. Exactly. And I mean, it's just, I could walk you through all the scenarios of, again, nobody can call Coinbase and say, I need you to freeze Allie's account. And then you are in a dispute with somebody about whether or not your account should be frozen. Nobody can do that. It's like, it's yours. So it's really powerful. All right, so your mobile key is backed up. Your emergency access kit is on your phone. In your Files app, there's a little Bitkey thing with instructions that say, if we disappear, here's what to do.
Nice.
Anyway, it's all there, but you don't have to worry about it. The trusted contacts we talked about. So this is, you can add people to securely recover your wallet in case of lost access. Again, the only reason you would use this is if you lose your phone and your Bitkey device at the same time, which shouldn't happen because they shouldn't be in the same place at the same time. So if your Bitkey device is in a bank safe deposit box or is where you keep your valuables, then you know your car catches on fire. You're not going to have your Bitkey device and your phone, you know, in your same car because it shouldn't be that way. So your trusted contacts, you can invite them, and then it says wallets you are protecting. So if somebody sends you a link, it'll ask you, who did this link come from? You say Joel Baumgar. And then I'll show up there, and it will say, if Joel Baumgar loses access to his wallet, you can help him unlock it. Now, to be clear, that doesn't mean you can unlock my wallet. It means you can help me unlock my wallet. And you do that by authenticating I'm the real me, either in person or on FaceTime or Zoom. And then once you've authenticated I'm the real me, it will give you a code that you give me that will let me unlock my wallet.
Gotcha.
Or if one of your trusted contacts would do the same thing, which is they would give you a code after they've authenticated, it's the real you, you're not under duress, whatever your protocol is, they'll authenticate it's the real you, and then it will give them a code, they will give you that code, and that code will allow you to decrypt your iCloud, and that will let you start a 7-day waiting period. So again, even if you lose everything, there's still a 7-day waiting period.
Yeah.
To make sure a hacker doesn't jump through all of these hoops of faking this and faking that.
Yeah.
And if somehow they did, it's like, now you got 7 days where it's gonna be pinging Allie twice a day saying, is this really you, Allie?
Yeah.
Let's double check. Is this really you? Now again, if you lose your phone, you lose your Bitkey, you lose everything, you don't mind waiting 7 days. But that's only if you lose everything. Otherwise, there's no waiting period and everything's automatic.
Gotcha.
So, okay. Oh, so it asks you in the United States, you can't use SMS. It says not available in the US. The reason is, in the United States, text messaging requires permission. But you are your own bank, so there's nobody to ask for permission. So there's no way for the Bitkey company to ask your permission to text you because they don't know who you are, which is the beauty of being your own bank. Now, they do ask for an email address because in the United States, you can legally send someone an email with a code, but they follow the US law. So you'll get push notifications and email notifications if somebody is trying to recover funds, including you, and that will make sure you know. And again, they're serious about security. They tell you all of that. And then you will never need these other things, but I'm going to tell you what they are anyway. You'll never need them. If the Bitkey company disappears from the planet and no longer exists, you can plug the Bitkey into your own custom, what's called an Electrum server, which you will never need to do because they're not going to disappear from the planet. But if they do, the guide tells you exactly how to use that. UTXO consolidation, also not something you need to do or worry about. I'll explain that in a video someday, but you don't have to worry about it. And exports is if you decide to sell some of the Bitcoin on your Bitkey, then if you sell it for an amount more than you paid for it, it will let you export your transaction history. And it will say download and you can just do that in Microsoft Excel, and you can give that to your tax person or put it in TurboTax or whatever, and it will say, hey, Allie moved this Bitcoin over at this price, and then she sold it on Coinbase at this price, and it's higher. And the IRS wants to know that for tax purposes. Capital gains tax, there you go. And then it tells you can contact them or the help center. Okay. So that is the settings, but to re-simplify everything, it's literally as simple, do you want to buy it, sell it, send it to someone else, or receive it from somewhere? And it says getting started. You just add the Bitcoin, you invite a trusted contact, and then you decide. So the first two are mandatory. You got to add Bitcoin, otherwise you're not using it. And you need to use a trusted contact in case you lose your phone and the Bitkey device simultaneously. The second two are optional, which is your transfer settings. It's up to you whether you want to be able to move any Bitcoin without having to touch that to the back of it. Some people with large balances, they're like, look, I have a lot of Bitcoin, but I want to be able to move $1,000 a day without touching the device. That way it can stay in a safe deposit box or somewhere, and they're like, I can still move small amounts around.
Yeah.
So, I'll give you a peek into my own world. So one of my nonprofits, the Bitkey device is its Bitcoin bank account. But I want to be able to donate funds out of that without having to go through the secure process of getting access to that Bitkey device. So I just have the limit set at the level that is as high as I normally donate funds out of that. So it's like if I want to donate funds from that Bitkey device, I can do that without the device. But it's a low enough level that I'm like, I'm not worried that a hacker is going to like clean me out one day at a time. It's like, so what if something bad happens, which is not going to happen because this is like the most beautiful, secure thing humans have ever invented. But if something did, it'd be like, they got 1 day of transactions. So what? That was like one gift to one nonprofit I was going to make one time in a year out of 10 years. Like it just, so that's why they give you that option. So if you're using it, because for like a nonprofit or any company, this can literally be its Bitcoin bank account. Like, for a whole company. So they don't want you to have to go get this from a very secure location for small amounts, which is why they have the transfer setting. And then extra fingerprints if you want them. So that is Bitkey. From there, there is your phone, there is your Bitkey. And I'll tell you a few other upsides that you may not be aware of if you haven't used other Bitcoin hardware wallets. But I'll give you some bonus content here. If you're using something like a Ledger or a Trezor, typically there's like 12 words or 24 words you have to write down. You don't have to do that with Bitkey. The problem with having it's called a seed phrase. So a seed phrase, the problem with a seed phrase is it's the way they do a backup in case something goes wrong with the little device. The problem is if anybody gets hold of that seed phrase, they have your Bitcoin. So it's super, in some ways super scary. It's like these 12 words or these 24 words represent my Bitcoin. So I have to keep them super secure because if somebody gets them, they get my Bitcoin. But if I lose it, I lose my Bitcoin. So it's like, that's a lot. You really don't want to do that. So Bitkey bypasses all that. There's no seed phrases. They put a beautiful interface on it. You don't have to work with any of that complexity. It's super straightforward. You don't have to worry about what if I lose it, what if I this, what if I that. It's just, it is so elegant and so beautiful. I'm just super impressed.
Yeah,
so,
and this is a fairly new
so
innovation.
Bitkey was released in, I believe, April of 2024.
Okay.
So it's been out only 9 months. It will ultimately dominate the market, I'll tell you in advance. The other solutions are great if you're super technical or if you don't mind having a seed phrase and then stamping it in a metal plate to make sure it doesn't burn in a fire and then hiding that metal plate where a hacker or a scammer never gets access to it and then putting passwords on top of the metal plate. Like, yeah, if you're super into that, good for you. The average person is not into that. The average person's like, please give me something that I can't mess up. That I can't somehow get hacked or scammed. I can't somehow lose it and like nothing bad can happen. Just let my Bitcoin be secure and make it easy to use. And Bitkey has done that. And they've done it as brilliantly and as beautiful as it can be done while still giving you the power to be your own bank. It's really incredible.
It's fascinating to me to actually have something where I create my own protocols of what to do for me to have my own money and don't have to have anyone else tell me.
Yes, and so there's a concept in anything financial called counterparty risk. Counterparty risk is the risk that the other person does something you don't want, that the bank freezes your funds or that they loan them out and it's not really there. So the beauty of being your own bank is there's no counterparty risk because there's no counterparty.
Right.
You're the only person.
Yeah.
But the other thing I'll say here is the actual Bitkey experience is much simpler than what I showed you. Had I not wanted to go through all the settings for people to say, hey, I want the full thing. Like if the goal here is to say, let's create the shortest onboarding Bitkey video. It's literally the setup process, which takes less than 6 minutes, and inviting a trusted contact. And I would have stopped there and I would have said, ignore all the settings. All the settings are irrelevant. They're all set to the defaults. The defaults is right where they need to be. You'll notice of all those, we didn't change anything, right? I mean, so the beauty of it is you can set it up, and all you have to do is move Bitcoin to it and make sure you have a trusted contact. That's it. And you can ignore everything else. But I wanted to go through all the settings because I figured for the sake of completeness, somebody type A personalities like me are like, no, I want to understand every single setting. I want to see every screen. I want to push every button. And so I wanted to go through for the sake of completeness. But again, it's less than 6 minutes for them to get it set up. And then they invite a trusted contact.
It's done.
And they're done.
Yeah.
It's really, really pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
Thank you,
congrats
Joel.
on being your own bank.
Thank you.